Early reports of Gene Hackman's death contained shocking details. Claims of a satanic cult operating in Santa Fe tied to Epstein, liberal elites, and ritualistic murders. But within hours, those reports vanished, scrubbed from the internet. Why? According to an FBI source, this satanic cult is the missing piece of the puzzle. It connects Hackman to Jeffrey Epstein and his network of elite VIPs, including the Clintons. The deeper you dig, the clearer it becomes. Hackman knew things, and now somebody wants the truth buried with him.
I told you they were going to burn the Epstein case files, and I told you people were going to start disappearing. Gene Hackman didn't die by accident. It wasn't a coincidence. Him and his wife taken out together. No, that was a message. He knew too much, lived too close to the truth. Hackman wasn't one of Epstein's sick playmates. He was a neighbor down there near that ranch in New Mexico. He saw things he wasn't supposed to. The late-night jets, the bonfires lighting up the desert, the screams carried on the wind. He knew about the client list, names that'd make your stomach turn. Politicians, CEOs, royalty. He knew why the FBI is burying it all right now, torching files faster than you can blink. They're in panic mode, the elite. Epstein's dead, so they say, but the loose ends are flapping in the breeze, and Hackman was one of them. He wouldn't join their game, wouldn't kneel. So they sent the order down the line, and the cult in Santa Fe took care of it. Yeah, you heard me. A satanic cult, operating out of some sprawling compound in the hills. They're the syndicate's muscle in the Southwest, Epstein's go-to for the dirty work. Rituals, sacrifices, blood on the sand. It's not just crime, it's a religion to them. They killed Hackman and his wife, staged it clean, but they were just the hands. The heads are higher up, way higher. See, Zorro Ranch wasn't just a hideout, it was a slaughterhouse. They called it the Great Game. Hunting kids, runaways, nobody snatched from the edges of the world. The cult ran the show, kept the altars warm, while Epstein's friends got their kicks. Hackman saw the motorcades roll in, the blacked-out SUVs, the private planes landing under moonlight. He heard the chants, saw the symbols carved into the rocks. He told me once, voice shaking, that it wasn't human, what they were doing out there. Epstein tried to bring him into the fold, tried to tempt him, tried to break him, but he refused. And then there's her, Hillary. Cold, calculating, untouchable. The wife of a president, but with a hunger that put him to shame. She never hunted alone, always had that hellhound by her side, big, black, mean as sin. That beast answered to no one but her. She'd chase those kids like a woman possessed. And when she didn't feel like playing, as Epstein called it, she let the dog do the work. I don't want to go into details, but this is some seriously sick shit. And when the hunt was over, well, that's when the real darkness began. That's the part no one wants to talk about. The symbols, the dark ceremonies, the child sacrifices, the young blood in goblets. This isn't just about power or pleasure. It's something older, something ancient. The FBI, we've known for years. Agents like me, we tried to dig, tried to blow it open, but every time the order came down, stand down, classified, national security. Push too hard, and you're gone, reassigned, retired, or just missing. Plenty of agents have gone missing, plenty suicided. The higher-ups are shielding the list, protecting the syndicate. It's not a government, not a company. It's older, darker. You don't climb to power unless you bow to it first. They're tidying up now, silencing anyone who can talk. Hackman's double murder? That was the cult, sure, but the command came from above. Someone untouchable, someone with a beast at her side. You know who I mean. That woman, all ice and ambition, married to power but hungrier than he'll ever be. She's in the files, too. They'll come for me soon. Could be today, could be next year, doesn't matter. But if you're hearing this, know it's real. The syndicate's got the world on a leash, and the FBI is holding the collar. Hackman knew, and they killed him for it. The only question is, how long before they come for you, too?
Kathy O'Brien is a survivor of ritualistic abuse and MK Ultra experiments as a young girl. She details the horrifying experiences she endured at the hands of some of the most highest-ranking officials of government, including the Clintons.
It was early evening when they played Most Dangerous Game.
I was stripped of my clothing. I was allowed to wear tennis shoes and told that I could have a head start and begin running before I would be hunted down. My exposure to it resulted in my believing I had no place to run and no place to hide. It seemed there were no limits to what could happen in my existence at that time.
Was the most extreme, one of the most extreme situations I think I ever survived.
O'Brien testified to Congress and accused Hillary Clinton of rape, while affirming that she was a sex slave for Hillary and Bill Clinton, who are affiliated with an elite sex trafficking ring that purchases, abuses, and sacrifices children.
Trauma to carry out my first trial run operation. An enormous quantity of cocaine had been flown in on one of these operations, and I was to deliver it into the neighboring state of Arkansas. By that time, Bill Clinton's drug operation was in full swing. He was governor of Arkansas, and I delivered this cocaine to a remote airport in Ouachita Forest, which I've since identified as Mena Airport. I also delivered a little packet of information and a small quantity of cocaine, a personal stash from J. Bennett Johnston, to Bill Clinton. I delivered it to Bill Clinton, and he cut out 2 lines of the coke, and he did inhale. That certainly wasn't the only time I saw Bill Clinton using cocaine. My sexual experience with Bill Clinton was extremely limited, in spite of the fact that I was a sex slave. It was my experience that Bill Clinton is bisexual, leaning far more towards the homosexual end. All I've ever seen him involved in was the homosexual activity, with very limited experience with him myself. Whereas my experience was much more prevalent with Hillary Clinton, because Hillary is also bisexual, leaning more towards the homosexual end, and it was she who accessed my sex programming to fulfill her perversions. People have all kinds of belief systems, and I'm sure each and every one of you has various and different belief systems as well. Regardless of what your belief system is, it is imperative that you know that these criminals are people. They are within our realm to affect. They need to be held accountable for their actions and their crimes against humanity. And as I deprogrammed, and as I was, it was really something to me to find out people didn't know about this stuff. I mean, it was so obvious to me. I didn't realize that people were unaware and had bought into some kind of smoke and mirrors illusions of what was going on, and never thought to look behind the scenes to what was really going on. But I understand good people don't think that way. They don't have criminal minds. They don't think to look for that kind of criminal activity. Just like these guys are limited in their thinking by immorality, good people are kind of blinded from that kind of criminal activity until their eyes are open to truth.
Gene Hackman spent his career playing men who fought corruption, men who stood up to power. In the end, he tried to live that role, and it cost him everything. The truth he died for? It's still out there, buried in the shadows of Santa Fe, Zorro Ranch, and those private islands. The question is, who's next? Here at The People's Voice, we're determined to continue exposing the crimes of the elite, but we need your help. Subscribe to the channel, spread this video far and wide, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our awesome community and support the channel. I hope to see you there. Today's video is brought to you by IPv6